Good morning, everybody. Long time no see. Sorry for the little break. I was involved with a very long project which took a lot of my energies. It really drained me, and I had to take a little. I was involved for about 3 weeks and a half with this project, and then I had to take a little 1 week holidays to, recharge the batteries a little bit and spend some time with the family. But now we're back, and my idea for today is that, long story short, I received a lot of messages on Facebook, on Twitter, other social media, and on my website contact form as well, asking basically two main things. The first thing is how I make money with music and sounds. In other words, my sources of income and how I make this work. And the answer is not easy because you'll see when I'll explain it to you that I have a very diversified income. So I thought it would be a cool idea to make a little video about this, explaining it and, saying where things are. And the second main thing is about productivity. How I make it work, how I find the time to work with music and sound while having a baby. I have a 8-month-old now. It was obviously very demanding. The short answer is that I have an amazing wife, but I do also want to talk a little bit about that. And so this is going to be very casual, very informal, a little bit of a chat, so that you can possibly get to know me a little bit better, but we can hopefully also discuss about the music industry and how to make this wonderful job work, which is not easy. I'm on Hollywood Park parking lot. The weather is absolutely awful. I'm gonna go up there on the crags, which I haven't done in a while, so I'm going to be incredibly unfit, so I'm not going to try and talk while I record this because I'm going to be out of breath very quickly. And by the way, this is not some sort of trick. I'm not recording in November. I'm posting this video in August. This is actually Edinburgh in August. Fantastic, isn't it? Okay, I'll see you up there. I put the camera on a tree. Let's hope it doesn't fall. Wind is quite bad, but it should work out. So I think that before I start anything, I must, clarify a little bit where I am in my musical journey, in my career, because I have the feeling, and that is just not with me, that social media can be an incredibly powerful, deceptive tool, and it goes both ways. There are some people that think that I'm an extremely successful composer and I, drive a Ferrari and live in a fantastic house, and none of those things are true. I ride a crappy 2014 Ford, which has a very faulty clutch and needs another replacement soon. And I rent a little tiny apartment in Edinburgh, although I did just buy a house, and hopefully we'll be all moving there fairly soon, and I'm gonna build my studio in there. And whereas other people don't realize the credits that you have and the project that you worked on, because there is you're constantly working, but there is just not enough visibility, or there is just not enough things that you can talk about. So I think it would be good, without going into too much details, explaining where I am in my career, but also where I'm not in my career, and where I want to go, and where I'm at it, and what are my doubts, what are my concerns. So I guess the truth is in the middle, as often is the case. I managed to make a living with sound in general, so not just with music. My business model at the moment is to diversify a lot, is to work on a lot of different things, and that is a very tricky thing to work out. What is the right balance to do these kind of things, because many people say that this industry requires an incredible amount of focus, and I couldn't agree more. This industry does require a huge amount of focus, but it's also a business that is very uncertain, is evolving in ways that many times we don't understand, and so it is also very risky to put your eggs, or to put all your eggs in one basket, and you need to somehow navigate this. I also work as a sound engineer. I'm employed now part-time with a very large American multinational as a senior sound engineer. And I mostly work with, let's say, voiceover. I work in text-to-speech synthesis technology, in particularly as applied to artificial intelligence. And it's a very interesting job, very rewarding. It's very flexible. I do have a lot of projects that sometimes keep me busy and away from music for a very large amount of time. And I used to do this full time, which didn't leave me much time for music at all. And then the other half, or sometimes more and sometimes less, of my time is dedicated to music and sound design. Within this realm, I really work in many different areas of the music business. As you probably know, I work a lot with library music. My library music income has been steadily growing, something that I really invested in since probably 2016. I started writing many tracks. I guess now I have a catalog of about 500 tracks that I've written in more or less 4 years. And this was weird because some years I wrote next to nothing, some other years. In 2018 I wrote about 300 tracks, which is insane. And that is growing steadily. This year in particularly is being good, although that industry after the pandemic, where is it heading? I'm not sure. Other things that I work on are several ads. So I worked with many agencies, and those are music houses, so there are not marketing agencies, but I still have the middleman, so it's not a brand or a advertisement agency that comes to me and asks me to score music for an ad. I work with them through music houses that specialize in creating custom music for ads. I write music for several campaigns in many areas of the world, actually. That is a business that is going pretty well, although maybe in a second part where I'm going to explain where I'm at, where I want to go with this. I'm going to tell you a few specific things about the advertisement industry, what I don't like about it in the way I'm working on it at the moment. What else do I do? I work in sound design. I do a lot of sample libraries. I code and create my own contact instruments. There is Magnetism Volume 1 and 2 that are out there. There is Magnetica, which is free. They're all distributed by Triple Spiral Audio at the moment, and in a few other places. I also help other developers with their sample libraries, and sometimes I'm hired to create custom instruments that are not commercially available. I did that a couple of times, so that is for other composers, or as it happened for teams of composers. That's a pretty interesting job, which I absolutely adore doing. I always give this very corny metaphor that for me is a little bit like a painter mixing his own colors. That's how I feel about making sounds. It's really cool. It's something that I really enjoy doing. Right now I have a contract signed to deliver 2 sample instruments between 2020 and 2021 through a pretty large distributor here in the UK. And that's exciting. I'm working very hard on that. I work a lot with so-called commercial clients. That means a lot of corporate videos. I just delivered an audio logo for a company. I typically do this through filmmakers, so there are directors or producers that I've worked with in the past that do, commercial work. They call me quite consistently to do this kind of jobs. It's not something that I enjoy particularly, but It's fairly easy. It comes to me fairly easily. At least it's fun, and at this stage of my career, I'm always very happy about pretty much taking anything, and not just because of money, because you need to pay your bills, but also because anything that you do, it's a great learning experience. That is what I think, at least. And after that, and leaving this as a final source of income, I work on films and TV shows. I left these last because it is obviously, what I want to do. It's obviously what I want to focus my time on. But the income from these parts of the industry are so incredibly volatile that I just can't rely on those at the moment. That is probably the single thing that frustrates me the most. I worked on a feature film, which was fun and great learning experience. Again, it was my first feature film. That is back in early 2018. I signed a contract to work on 2 more feature films, which sort of started, and making a film takes a very long time, and I was still not involved in it, and neither of those films reached a post-production phase. So when the pandemic hit, that was pretty bad because both production stopped, and so now I have no idea where we are at with these 2 projects. TV shows, I worked a little bit with the Italian TV, which was good. I have a few other things online that I can't talk about, but again, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of risk. I'm not sure where that is going. Okay, and I hope that gave you a little bit of an idea of how I make a living with sound and music. To recap, there is the sound engineering job that I still do and still enjoy. Sound design, which essentially means either making my own sample libraries or synth presets, that kind of stuff, or doing that for other people, be it other sample developers or for other private composers, so now making them commercially available. And then custom scoring, which can be either commercial work, so advertisement, corporate clients, that kind of stuff, or films and TV. So I would say that these are the 3 main areas that allow me to to make a living out of music. I think this might be a good place to stop for a second, and I'll come back with a second part to discuss a little bit where I want to go with my career, where I'm headed, what is the direction that I'm taking, and then a little bit more on productivity, on how I organize my day. See you next time.